done. They're amazing people. But let me tell you this. The year we promoted to senior leader, we flew to Texas and we were in this meeting, and it was like a very small group meeting at the home office, and there were a lot of bigwigs in there, and I was scared. I was like, oh Lord, it's all these people that are important. And Tim was in there, and it was a closed door meeting, but in that meeting, I'm gonna tell you one thing he said. And it was getting a little heated, and then he said, you know what? It doesn't matter what the world does, and it doesn't matter what anybody else does. Premier is going to do what God has called us to do, and we're going to remain faithful to our biblical principles, regardless of that cost. And that, I cried in the meeting like an idiot, and that right there, I knew right away that I had no doubt and no question that this company was in truly amazing and convicted hands who are willing to get their hands dirty. So will you please give a huge welcome to Tim and Peggy Horner!
Thank you, Lacey. Got it ready back there. Thank you so much. Sit down, please. We got a lot to do today. Y'all need to sit down and be good. Now the other thing is, if you're a little warm, that's okay. Do this. I'm used to it. She gets a little hot once in a while. She's you know what I mean? She's really hot stuff. Keith, you get it. You get it. Yeah. One of the greatest things in my life, here Peggy, you can get that because she might want to counter some of this. That's called a microphone, go ahead. We're getting ready to speak, and we're doing the techie stuff, and so Brian and Jonathan are back there making sure we've got all that ready. But before we start, you guys have had some nice little drawings. Mr. Commander, Blaine Commander, whatever. William, where are you? Okay, why don't you walk quietly up here? Do not run, do not scream and holler, do not trip and fall and lose all your tickets right there. He just did that. We're going to have a real drawing. I know y'all get the little trinkets from Lacey, but you know what Peggy and I brought? We brought cash. We brought money. Wait a minute. Oh, you just... Nah, somebody help me with him. Okay, sweetie, Peggy Sue's going to, talk right into that. Is that working? Hey, can y'all hear her? She's so sweet. All right, really, before we get started, what we want to say, we want to say thank you, first of all, to Lacey, of course, and Jonathan. They have done such a tremendous job leading here. And then there's Danielle and Dave. You just heard from Zach, and Christy's right here, and then I can't name them all. Cheryl and Rick, Herman. Selena Curtis and Elena Bryan and Stephanie and, William. Yes, we thank you too, William. And then Chuck and Anthony, thank you. Those are the ones that we know are leading. Lacey, I bet you have dozens of others who have helped you with this. Thank you so much. Last night, we got to have dinner with a whole bunch of you. How many of you? There was like 30, 40 of them, Lacey. What a great evening we had sitting and visiting, and Gayla got to talk to them and to give them a lot of good advice, and Peggy and I got to meet them. You have an exceptionally strong group of premier leaders. We have in our company tremendous field leadership. There's no better than right here in Florida. None. Oh, I forgot, William's here. Why are you up here, young man? Okay, let's pick a drawing for a $50 bill unless you don't want it. Okay, $50 bill, Peggy. Okay, William says you must stand up. Now here's the deal. Yeah, if you're excited, that's okay. And if you're not, I'm still giving you 50. He won't do it, but I will do the 50. Okay, sweetie, go.
All right, 9, 7, 8, 4, 5, 8.
Whoa! This is rigged. Congratulations. Well, okay, she's going to buy us dinner. All right, that's okay. We'll take it. Good grief. Way to go, Danielle. Well, we're not done. We got another one. Blaine Commander, these girls want some money. They got to pay the gas. Some of them drove all the way from Savannah, Georgia. Where are you, Joneses? There they are. Oh my gosh. Who came the furthest? North Carolina? Oh my, that's right. Thank you for coming. We do not understand why, but thank you for coming. We're so impressed and honored. Now I hope you people who came the furthest win. What's your... Okay, Maggie.
All right. 9, 7, 8. 3, 7, 6.
Hey, wait. We couldn't hardly hear that. Did you win? Oh, man. There we go. He goes for me. Stephanie. Congratulations, Stephanie. Oh. So welcome. How are we doing back there? Brian, are we all set? Okay, boy, oh, that one works. Excellent. So we're back to our regular schedule. All right, wonderful. One more, Commander Blaine, bold, Commander Blaine. Okay. Now we're not almost out of money, so trying to be happy for the next winner, please. All right, Peggy Sue, call out. Then we're going to work.
9, 7, 8. 4, 8, 1.
All right, that's the big money prizes. We'll go back to that other stuff in a little bit. Okay, Peggy Sue's going to sit down because I guess it's my turn. Brian's got us back on track. Is Peggy going first still, or are we going back on track? All right, here I am. Let's go back to original schedule. Lacey, just like you planned it. Zach, I do get you. I do understand. Yeah, we do. We love it. Lacey. She's awesome. All right. I'm waiting on my tech guys to give me the thumbs up. This premier company is quite unique, and I've got to get something because right back here is the reason this company is quite unique. I got 2 of them. Man, I'm really biblical. I've got 2 of them today. These are Bibles. You want to know why I have 2 of them? I'll tell you why I have 2 of them. Because one is my mother's, one is my father's. And I'll tell you the story. My mom's real quick. She died in 2010. How many of you really were never with Premier while my mother was around 2010? How many were not? No, not who were. How many of you really have not been exposed to Joan Horner at all because you're relatively new? Well, it's been 6 years, almost 6, since she passed away. So that's the bulk of the room, Peg Sue, which is not unusual. So what I want to do today is show you a little bit of the founders and our legacy. But this Bible, I've got it wrapped up in plastic. You know, you're going to see that our company is a biblically based, it's a biblically founded company. My parents did that. They were 60 years old. When my mother passed away in 2010, it was like any death. It was a surprise, a little bit of a shock. And when we got over it, I told my father, I said, Dad, I want something for my mom, but I just want one thing, and it's a Bible of hers. I just want one of her Bibles. Well, it took him about a year, and he went through all the stuff, and he finally brought me a Bible of hers, and it was wrapped up in one of those grocery store bags. I think it was, in our neighborhood, it's a Tom Thumb supermarket. And a rubber band around it. He hands it to me. He says, this is your mom's Bible. So great, yeah, it's about time. Yeah, thanks, you know. Well, it has. It's hers. It has Joan Horner. This is a rather special Bible, which I wasn't going to necessarily share that story, but it's a very special Bible that my mom had, and it turns out it was for me. But he didn't know that, and I didn't either. And as I took my mom's Bible, my dad said, yeah, hey, Tim, yeah. I said, hey, I thought you might want one of mine too. So that's why I have 2 Bibles. I didn't have to ask for it. If you know my dad, you know that's just kind of the way it goes. So I have 2 Bibles I carry around because they're special Bibles, not because I'm, you know, spiritual. It's just they remind me of not only the founding principles, but of the founders and what was on their specifically important heart. and I think we're not quite ready. As we go through this, though, I want to present to you the philosophy and the purpose and the plan of this great company, and the fact that it was founded on these biblical principles. And the most important biblical principle that in the entire company, as they play, the most important principle, biblical principle. You might think the Bible's full of them. They are, but let me tell you the most important one for a company like ours. If we're gonna hold this up, and my dad's gonna say, "This is the rock," we're founded on it. You've heard all that. You may have seen him over the years. Well, it is. This is the rock of our salvation. It's the rock of our company. If we hold it, what's the most important principle in there? If I had to ask you one principle, and some of you are real spiritual, you'd probably have a page full of them. But what's the most important principle that you would say this company should be exercising? I'll tell you what I think. Because it really doesn't matter what you say anyway. I got the answer. I'm the president. I want you to know that we might be ready. Oh. Okay, so again, I'm kind of like you, Zach. We're just not going to get our videos today. I'm sorry. We might get one of them, and we're going to give it a try. But these Mac people, they're so far over my head, I wouldn't understand it. All I know is, let's talk about an introduction to our Legacy Museum.
Premier Designs was founded in 1985 by Andy and Joan Horner.
You listen to this.
Retired from a successful corporate life.
Maybe the only video you get, but listen to this.
Already grandparents. The Horners had been searching for ways to support Christian missions around the world. Little did they know that their search would lead them to founding a new company that would redefine the meaning of service.
When we started out, we really wanted to build a company that was unique and different. Our objectives have always been clear: to honor God in all that we do, to enrich every life that we touch, to pursue excellence, and to grow profitably. What has happened is beyond anything that Joan and I could have ever dreamed of.
Their faith in God was the foundation for Premier Design's philosophy, purpose, and plan. These ideals have not changed from the day they were written, but Andy and Joan have taken no credit for the success and longevity of these principles. Premier Designs was not founded for their own personal gain, but to glorify God.
The years have been wonderful, full of excitement, hard work, disappointments, personal victories, lives changed forever, and total fulfillment for Andy and me. Premier is God's company. It is marvelous to see. Joan and Andy did not do this. It is only God's favor that has built Premier, and remember that.
Little did I know that God would help us touch lives here in America, and that people would be willing to join us as a company that had the same desire to share that hope that we have. And I just can't tell you, folks, that wasn't by chance. God did have a plan for my life.
This museum is not to glorify the accomplishments of two people. Rather, it is here to illustrate the miracles that God performed over many years to create Premier Designs. We hope you enjoy your time learning about God's hand in the lives of Andy and Joan Horner. And remember, to God be the glory.
If you come to our home office, you'll go into our museum, which we built in 2011 and 12. That was the last speech my mom gave at a national rally. Little did we know that a few months later she was going to be in heaven. So we had to do this museum. The value of the founders and their legacy and their passing down tremendous principles of God's Bibles to us had to be maintained. So I insisted that we have a museum. And as we sat, we talked in his office. And I said, we're going to do this, and we're going to have a section on you and the mom. When they come in, they're going to get to see your statue of you and mom and holding up the hands. And he immediately says, no, he didn't like that. Now, he may come across as a guy who needs a lot of attention sometimes. He enjoys that. But inside, he's a real humble guy. And his words to me were, this is not about me and your mom. This is not about some monument to Joan and Andy. We're not going to do that. We're not going to put that big old statue. You're not going to have this big museum about the Horners. I said, okay, we won't. But you're critically important. You know you are. Your story matters to our people. It matters to God. It matters to where we're going. We've got to share this. We've got to keep this. We've got to understand this. We have to remember this. We have to show all of these new folks when they come through our home office, they need to see from whence we've cometh, where we came from. That tells them where we're going. So we had to do this museum. So I finally convinced him that we have to show you, we have to put you in there. He said, okay, only if you say in big words, to God be the glory. So I said, fine. So done deal, Dad. So when you go in there, you come to the home office, if you've been there, many of you have, you walk in the front, you go to the right reception, you go through there, and you see the statue of Andy Joe. Above that statue, you'll see the words, to God be the glory. It's because he made the command and order, and he's still the CSO. And the museum is all about God. Now, what in the world do we talk about God all the time for? Well, I'm getting a little up there, in case you haven't noticed. In fact, I was sitting in my dad's office with him, not last week, probably the week before, and I said, you know, Dad, I know you can't see, but take a look at me. He goes, yeah, I want to show you a picture of what I looked like a few short years ago. Pre-premiere. He couldn't see it, and he didn't think it was all that funny anyway. I said, Dad, I'm the age when you started the company, and I'm just wore out and tired. And he laughs. I was telling the group last night. He laughed, said, ha, 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 ha. I didn't like that. He said, ha, 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 ha. You're just getting started. Ha, ha, ha. You've got another 30 years, son. You know what? It wasn't that long ago. I would have said, no, I don't like this. I don't want 30 more years of premiere. I don't want 30 more minutes of premiere. You see, I came to premiere kicking and screaming. Some of you who saw me coming in were wondering what I was doing there too. I was not presidential attitude material. See, 1985, they founded this company. They pointed at me and they said, this is not for you. This is not to enrich our family. This is not to get involved in your life. This is about others and service and blah, blah, blah. We said, fine, because at that time, there was nothing. And you want to know the most important thing we said when we left that meeting? They've never done this. They don't know what they're doing. They've never started a company on their own. They've always worked for somebody, except for one little deal he made in East Texas for a couple of years, and that didn't work. He's never done this. You know what we missed, of course, was it wasn't going to be Joan and Andy's show all the time. And it was built on these biblical principles. And when you live your life, when you join a business, and you run your business on these principles, whether you believe them, love them, know them, understand them, when you do that, you will have success. You just can't help it. Now, what's the definition of that success? I'm going to tell you that in just a moment. I didn't come happy. I came kicking and screaming. I pointed my finger at my dad and said, you know what, Pop? You told me this wasn't for the family. And if you know my dad, he just kind of, that's going to be great. And he goes on, you know, he's just Mr. Positive. In fact, he wasn't the kind of guy who sat in the corner and discussed a whole lot of things. You did a lot of listening and learning and laughing. And he's probably the greatest man in my life, and the greatest man I respect the most, and he's the one that means the most to me. But those days, it was like, Pop, I don't want to be here. Why am I here? You need to know this, because you know what? I'm your president. Don't do that yet. I'm your president, and frankly, I can kind of mess this whole company up. Do you realize, in one man, I have the authority to go back and fire Peggy Sue Horner from jewelry stuff? The she's going to show you that you're going to enjoy a whole lot more than this. I can go to the home office and I can tell Mr. Bob Bolander, change that comp plan, please, and do it in 30 days, and he has to do it, or what? Or else. Is there anybody else on earth who has that authority? No, not at Premier. And who's going to fire me? My 91-year-old father? Yeah, he would. If he found out about it, he'd fire me. He'd be back. I don't think it'd look too pretty, but he'd be back. The authority invested in me is scary for me. I didn't want this responsibility. You see, it's not just a job. This company is uniquely different because of two things. It's deeply held philosophy and it's people. We're not different because of our product. We're not different because we have the greatest comp plan, we have the greatest promotions. We're not different for that. We're different because of why we're in business. And the leadership in this area, they got that. You know what they got? They understand that you are the most important part of their business. Not their jewelry, not the next training, but you. Now, isn't that quite unique? And if the president had it any other way, he blows all that. He ruins that. He can take the Bible out of Premier. You have to trust me, or you wouldn't be sitting here. You have to understand where I come from to trust me. Now, I want you to know I didn't come happy. I just told you that. I came very, very reluctantly. I came to a place where I was very... Peg can tell you that we were dating at the time. That's my second chance. If you ever think, Zach, there's a second chance in life, I got mine. She's sitting right there in the front row. Y'all don't know that story, but we'll be married just 9 years in September. Both of us, like maybe some of you, our marriages ended. And we had a period of time where we were struggling, going through things. And then I got lucky. She kind of drew the short end, but I got lucky. That's a God thing in my life. So God is a second chance. So when he comes to Premier and I'm the guy, you have to trust me. Why do you trust me? You shouldn't unless I earn that trust. Leadership is all about integrity. I just said a minute ago, what's the most important biblical principle? It is integrity. If I have no integrity, it doesn't affect me, it affects you. It affects Premier. You have to trust me. I want you to trust me. I want you to see that those are my parents. I don't know how they got up there, but I didn't put it there yet. So I think somebody's trying to stay up with me over here, and I'm kind of going all over the place. Brian, good luck. But I'm not even going to talk about integrity. But my parents had it. They brought me in. Let me tell you one quick story, because this is important. You have to know if I'm a fake, you need to head for the hills. They brought me in, they said, you're going to come in, you're just going to be great. We had this great conversation. I said, I don't want this, I can't do it, Dad. It's about 9 years ago. I was sitting in their house, one of these Christmas parties we were at, and they got me up there and they kind of caught me by surprise with a house full of people. We had the attorneys, we had a lot of executive directors there. They were talking about the future, and Peggy and I were hiding in the back because we didn't know why we were there. And they said, Tim Horner, come on up here and talk to us. You're going to be the future president. Yay! And smoke's coming out of my ears. This is really bad because I was not prepared for that. This was my father. He just springs it on you. It's going to be great. Come up here and talk to us. I didn't like that. I went up and I said, you're getting too carried away. Merry Christmas. And I sat down. We talked later. And I told my dad and Mom, I can't do this. And I turned to walk out of the house after that conversation. And my dad got very emotional, so I said, yeah, okay, I'll come back. I want you to know I came back because I love two people, my parents. I came back because they had some kind of trust in me. Because I asked them two questions. The first one didn't matter. The second one is, do you trust me? These are the two people you just saw them. Dad's 91, Mom's in heaven. Do you trust me? These are the people who knew me the most. Do you trust me? I can mess this up. And they immediately said yes. I'd never spent a day in the office. Never worked at Premier. I hung around it, and they said they trusted me. Now you can imagine how it made me feel. It made me feel crazy, like that baby. I was crying a whole lot more inside. Here's the deal. Pretend you're me. Pretend you're in Premier and you say, you know what, I don't know why I'm doing this. I don't know why I'm here today. I'm not sure about this place. I'm not sure about my role. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to be doing. I think I like it. No, I don't want to do it. I want to do it because I love these people and they wanted me to. And I love my parents and they wanted me to. I didn't come in whistling, skipping either. I came in resenting it. And I held that resentment for 2 or 3 years. If you saw me in the early days, you knew I was uncomfortable. You knew I didn't know what to say to you people. I don't know anything. What am I supposed to tell these folks? It was a definite struggle for me. Here's the key. Little did I know, after 9 years, that tremendous burden on me, this job that I was inheriting, honestly, you want to know the truth, had nothing to do with Premier. I have learned that sometimes God's just working with me. Sometimes it's about me and Him. Sometimes it has nothing to do with my job. I was petrified about being a president of a company. I now know that I had this great burden. It has turned into the greatest blessing my life could ever have received. But the key is this. I, at some point, thanks to a lady named Julie Miller, decided to get out of my box and open up to what my future held. They saw in me something I didn't see, something I didn't care about, something I didn't like, something I didn't think I wanted. But it was about God's working on my heart, my life, my growing, my ability to grow into something we never thought we'd do. Right, Peggy? She'd have run to the hills if I'd have told her, mirror me, and you could stand up before thousands of people and talk. She was like my mother. She didn't want to lead in a silent prayer. She was so quiet and shy. That's what my dad always said. Peggy's very much like her. That's why he likes her more than he likes me. God and your leadership see in you what you may not see in yourself. My parents saw in me what God could do with a guy if he would only let him. That's your lesson for today. Okay? Number one, it's not always about you, but you know what? It might be just about you and God in Premier. I don't care how long you're in Premier. I don't care if you're in for 6 months, 16, 25 years, but do not waste your time in Premier. Seek out your purpose in Premier. It may be to grow a huge, strong, big business, or it might just be to grow yourself. That's all it might be. Like me. Now, the most important thing you should have is integrity. I think it's up there. Nope. It's coming back, right, Brian? Integrity. You want me to do it? What is integrity? I'm the definition. This is for me, not you. I'm going to zip through these because I do have, is this working? It is coming out of this book, Leadership A to Z. And the only reason I'm going to talk about integrity for 3 minutes, don't get bored, don't go to sleep. This is important because I'm the one who needs integrity. If I have it, then I can look at Lacey Bassler and say, you need to have it too. If I don't have it, she's not going to be so inclined to have it with you. Integrity and leadership is top down. If I lead that, then I expect you, Gail Editor, to be a woman of integrity. Don't come up here and tell them a bunch of mishmash stuff. Tell them the truth. Tell them what it's about. Now, integrity simply is the most important ingredient of leadership. Trust is the glue. Holds all relationships together, and trust is based on integrity. Now, I'm pushing, there we go. The Lord demands business fairness in every business deal. What's this? It's a Bible verse. But it's our founding verse. That's my mom's founding verse. I was going to play that for you and let her tell you herself. But with the techie stuff, it's not working. But it doesn't matter. It's still the same. That's our founding verse. It's not just another verse. That's the basis of Premier. Fairness. Fairness requires the truth. Telling the truth. It's doing what you say you would do. You know, this is not magic, people. If I lie to you and then I go out and I tell you I'm going to show up and I'm going to show up in Florida and somehow we just don't show up, we have no integrity. It's accepting responsibility when I mess it up. It's that simple. Do what you say, tell the truth, and when you don't, admit it. That's integrity. It's never cheating. My mom used to love talking about cheating. I don't know why. don't cheat. She would tell, don't cheat all the time. And she's talking to y'all about home shows and y'all cheat. I don't hate to cheat on home shows, but you do it somehow. Don't do that. You do little things, you count something, this or that, I don't know. There's 100 ways to cheat in life, thousands of ways, and there's a dozen ways to cheat on home, whatever you do. You don't have integrity when you do that. You know, I got a letter 2 weeks ago. Unbelievable, with a check in it. A former jeweler wrote me this sweet letter. She said, I can't sleep. 2 years ago, I forged a home show or something. And so she pays me back. You want to know what happened? She was fine, but you know what happened? Somehow her life changed. She found a serious relationship with God. Then she said, that was wrong. I'm a Christian. I'm going to make it right. Now that's what God does. But her integrity came into play after she knew it mattered and she fixed it. You got it? Tell the truth. Don't cheat. And you know what? Standing up for the principles you believe in. You got it? I'm going to do that. We're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the next one. It's walking your talk. Y'all thought this was going to be really heavy and real philosophical, didn't you? No. Integrity is very easy. Tell the truth. When you mess up, fix it. Admit it. Do what you say. Walk your talk. When these leaders get up here, you want to know if they have integrity? You listen to what they say, then most importantly, you go watch what they do. You go follow them around. It'll take you about 5 minutes and you'll find out if they're real deal or they're fakes. What is it? It's all that. We don't have any fakes in Premier? Yeah. No, Peggy says, no, honey, we don't have no fakes. She believes that. I tell you what. One of the great gifts God has given me, well, some of you might take this wrong, but I tell the truth. Now, one of the gifts He hasn't given me sometimes is how to tell the truth. You get it? All right, let's move on. People learn by seeing your example. I demand our leaders have integrity. I do not demand perfection. When I go to the home office, I said, all of you people, let's do the right thing. If we mess it up, fine. But don't tell me something you're not going to do. Let's prayerfully think about it. Let's discuss it. Let's decide what we're going to do. But once we say we're going to do it, let's do it. That's your test of your president. If I say I believe in this Bible and stuff, you hold me to it. Now, this is all about servant leadership, and I'm skipping through all that, all right? Leadership is a matter of the heart, because we're not in leadership today. I would have shown you the greatest video of all time right there. But you got to come to our home office to see it. That is a legacy video. I wanted you to see from our founders themselves what it was and what they intended, what they meant when they started this great company. That biblical principle of integrity lends itself right into servant leadership. But this video talks about objectives and philosophy and purpose. How many of you know we have a tremendous philosophy and purpose? How many of you know we have one? We got one. How many of you really know what it is? Well, if it shows up here, I'm going to tell you what it is. Trust God? Yeah, that's it. That's at the very end. I'm going to back it up. All right? I'm going to go on back. Here's what I want you to see. At the very first, I'm going to tell the truth. Did you get that? We are stuck on telling the truth, Brian. I'm telling you the truth, Brian. Would you get me back to the... Okay. Go to the top. Objectives, philosophy. I want to remind everybody here, because that's my job. I want to remind you that our objectives from day one, you would have heard my parents say this. Very simple. Grow wisely, profitably. Enrich every life we touch. And what? Provide excellent service. That's an objective. Now you want to know what a purpose is? A philosophy? Our purpose. Enrich every life we touch. It's not only an objective, it's a purpose. Now what does that mean? I'll tell you what it means. It means a lot of things. But in Premier, it doesn't mean we're just going to by making you rich. Sell some jewelry, sponsor 20 people. Get yourself a designer, get yourself elite, make a lot of money. That's part of it, maybe, but that's not what we mean. We want your life enriched Meaning we want you to build your business, but ultimately want your life to be built along with it. Enrich means to improve it, to touch it, to change it. It could be 1,000 ways. So enriching your life is our purpose, provide people a way to find identity. I'm not going to have to meet the personal financial needs of your family, of all who become premier. We believe this. Those of you who have been around, you may have heard this, but I'm going to pound this one home. God created every person with value. How many times have you heard, God didn't take time to make junk? He made you. Mary Crowley used to say that. God didn't take time to make a nobody. You've heard my parents say that. That simply means if you're created, you're on earth. I don't care your status, your value. I don't care of your financial success, your checkbook. It doesn't matter. When you were born, you're created in the womb. You're these little beautiful little children here. God gave you every single ounce of value you ever need. God gave that to you. You know why? One thing I finally realized is I am, because I've accepted this, I'm His son. I'm His child. What else do I need? My family. Well, honestly, we do need others. But God gave you that worth and value. So we believe that God created you. Don't you forget that. If I'm talking to you, remember, I don't give you value. Lacey doesn't give you value. It says right here, God gives you value. You know what comes with that? Greatest life ever. We believe life's priority should be God, family, career. We believe in America, the free enterprise system. And we believe that you are our most important asset. Let me talk about America. We got a timer here. America. We love America. You come to our rally, you will see us celebrate our great country, won't you? You come Saturday morning, we're going to do that. Now, why is that? It's because we love America. Now, does that mean we agree with everything? No, of course not. You know we don't. You don't either, certain things. But when you come to Premier, you're going to come. And you're going to know that no matter what is going on in our country, we love it. We will cherish it. We will serve it. More importantly, Premier becomes much more important in our country now. I don't quite understand what's happened in these last few short years. I do know what happened. I do know what's going on in a God sense, and I understand. It's very sad sometimes to not recognize our country. When I grew up, and I'm a lot older than some of you, it is a different culture. It's a different place. But you know what is not different? I don't care if we're watching Leave It to Beaver, or Bonanza, which Mandy Dysart, our director of marketing, has never heard of. I kid you not. I laughed so hard we were talking about Bonanza in a war room this week. She goes, Bonanza? I've heard of Bonanza? What is that? It's like the most famous Western of all time. Oh, no, she's that young. It doesn't matter what our culture is doing. You know what matters? What's the difference? There's no difference. The need is the same, is it not? Don't people need the same thing? Don't they need the Lord? That's that simple. I'm not preaching. We have a great business. When I say here that you're our most important asset, that's wonderful. I say we believe in America, the free enterprise system, that's wonderful. We have a tremendous business. Let me tell you, we have an outstanding business operation. You should be proud of your company from a business standpoint. We're profitable, we're debt-free, we have everything under that home office roof, we have every distribution center there, every financial, every customer service. You come to that home office, you'll be proud of your company. We have manufacturing area that Peggy works in. We have dozens of vendors. Your company is a strong business. But when it's built on, we believe you're the most valuable person we have, and that you're our most important asset, not our highfalutin techie system. We have a tremendous company that has value. And the only difference in Premier is this. Now, this is my mom's Bible. She wrote in it. I'm going to tell you a little secret, because this really shook me up a year after she died. I said, Dad, I want a Bible. So she has a lot of Bibles. And he picks this one out of the blue. He's blind. He's half blind. He's got macular degeneration. He can't read this. He doesn't even know what's here. That's actually my dad's. But he brings this one to me, and sure enough, it is Mom's. It has her name imprinted right here, Joan, on her front. And I said, thank you, Dad. Thanks for bringing that to me. About 6 months later, I think, I put it on my desk. I didn't even look at it. 6 months later, I pulled it out just to check on it and look at it. And sure enough, it's Mom's Bible, and I'm thumbing through it, and I'm looking through it, and I see this at the front, and I say, wow, what is all this? There's a lot of handwritten notes in the front of it. I said, wow, I wonder who Mom was writing. Somebody's talking to her, and there's 3 or 4 pages of little personal notes. And I look at them, and I say, wait a minute, these are written to Tim. It says Tim. Tim. My brother Tim, dear Tim. Who? This was my mother's Bible. Why are they writing to me? You want to know what happened? I told you the night when I was so embarrassed and unhappy, and I got mad at my dad, and I said, man, I'm not doing this. I'm sitting down that night at his house. You know what my mother was doing? She was passing a Bible around to the people who were at that meeting that I so abruptly said, you're getting carried away. Y'all need to go home. Merry Christmas. And I left. They were writing me notes like Elizabeth Draper. Tim, may God bless you as your new journey begins. I didn't want the journey. You will always be in our constant thought and prayers. God is faithful all the time. This is the top executive director in our company. Write me a note. A year later, I decided to open it up. Nancy Swartz, Rick, Greg, Melissa Terrell, Julie Miller, Mike and Gail Foster, David Miller, Beverly Terrell, Gary, Janet Gooch, Richard Diane Breakstone, Tom and Kathy Allen. All of these EDs wrote me a note the night I told them to get lost. Basically. My mom had that Bible, never gave it to me. And here's the way it works, guys. If she handed me that Bible that night, can you imagine what I would have done with it? She had no idea she'd be in heaven. She had no idea that I was going to get this. God knew. And He knew when I got this that it would change my heart at a time when I would listen to that. And let me share with this, and I'm going to sit down because this time's up. I thumbed through the Bible, not only with all those handwritten notes in there, to me from all those other people, but my mom wrote me a note. Now there's no way, Zach, I'm going to read it. I get it, brother. There's no way. But can you imagine? A year or so after your mother died, she had this special Bible just for me that I would have probably thrown in the corner and got angry about. I want to read one little part of this. I want you to know what she left your president. Because she knows me. She's my mother, my father. Nobody knows better than me that your parents know your children. They think you don't know them. They think you're idiots half the time. But we know them, don't we? We know our children. Of course we know them. My mother knew me. Well, I might say, oh, you don't know me, Mom. Yes. Oh, yeah, she did. Listen to what she wrote me. She wrote me a 5-page handwritten from my mother. And at the end, I want you all to hear this. She left me with this. These are her words to me, son, as you go into this deal. This is your president. This is his mother. Okay? All y'all, a lot of mothers in here, you get this. Listen to what she tells me, and more important, listen to what she doesn't tell me. She said, Tim, I have a favorite verse. This is the last page. I claim as the Lord's promise for you. I really don't want to leave you with all this other stuff. How great you are, your personality's this or that, or how I think you're this or that. She says, I want to leave you with a favorite verse that I claim as the Lord's promise for you. And I think, boy, this is going to be good. She's going to give me a good verse. She could have told me I was great and all that, but no. Listen to this verse. You parents. Jeremiah 9, she says, 23 and 24. She writes out every single word of the verse. Here it is, Jeremiah 9. This, she says, is what the Lord says. Quote, remember, she's talking to the president of the company and her son. Okay, son, let not the wise man gloat in his wisdom, or the mighty man in his might. or the rich man his riches. Let them boast in this alone. They truly, she says, that they truly know me. And understand that I am Lord, who's just, righteous, and whose love is unfailing. And that I delight in those things. In her final words, she says, this is what the Lord says. Exclamation point. Her final words to me was, don't get the big head, son. Don't think you're all that great, son. Don't think you have a big bank account, son. But truly understand the Lord is the righteous one. Now, you think she could have wrote me something a little different, don't you? You think she could have said, man, son, you're going to do good. I'm counting on you. I love you. Praying for you. You're the guy. You can do this. You're awesome. She left me with her founding, philosophical, rock-solid book that Premier's built upon, the Bible. She died with God's Word. They started Premier with God's Word. We're going to continue with God's Word. We will be successful if we do. And you can count on your president to understand that his mother expects him to remember that this is God's company. Now, my time is up. I'm going to come back in a little while and share some more with you. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for trusting us. Thank you for holding us accountable to our founders and our principles in this great book. Lacey.